What if the quietest girl in your class got invited to a magical tea party at the bottom of the ocean? Join Marisol, a shy daydreamer, as she discovers that courage can come from the most unexpected waves. Marisol clutched her drawing book as the ocean breeze ruffled her hair. She always sat alone by the rocks after school, sketching sea turtles, mermaids, and imaginary sea kingdoms. The waves whispered to her not in words, but in feelings. And that was enough for a girl who barely spoke in class. She wasn't lonely, not really, just quiet. Today, she drew a table made of shells, teacups shaped like sea urchins, and a jellyfish chandelier. She added smiling dolphins and sea otters in little vests. Her heart warmed just looking at it. "I wish this could be real," she whispered. The wind suddenly picked up. A sparkle shimmered on the tide pool near her foot. She leaned in and gasped. Inside the water, her drawing was floating, glowing softly. Before she could blink, the tide pool widened and swirled into a whirlpool. It sucked the drawing in, and then, to her surprise, it pulled her in too. Splash! Marisol opened her eyes underwater. But she wasn't drowning. She was breathing. She looked down. Her school clothes had turned into a flowy dress made of seaweed silk and starfish patterns. Around her floated bubbles filled with laughter. Her hair swayed like seagrass, and the water around her shimmered like glass. A glowing seahorse swam up to her. "Marisol of the land," it said with a curtsy. "We've been expecting you." Marisol blinked. "You have? This way, please. The Coral Countess has prepared a special seat for you." Still too surprised to speak, she followed the seahorse past dancing schools of fish and coral towers that glowed like lanterns. A group of dolphins waved at her. A crab in a top hat gave a cheerful bow. Then she saw it. An enormous clamshell banquet table stretched across the seabed, surrounded by jellyfish chandeliers and pearl candles. Octopuses were serving tea with their tentacles. Sea lions laughed politely with stingrays in bow ties. There were narwhals with monocles and turtles with napkins tucked under their chins. And at the head of the table, resting on a pink coral throne, was a tall, elegant woman with hair like flowing sea foam and eyes that sparkled like treasure. "Welcome, Marisol," she said warmly. "I'm the Coral Countess. Your imagination opened the gates to our world." Marisol looked around. "This is from my drawing," the Countess smiled. "Your heart created it, and now you're one of us." A stingray butler pulled out a seat made of woven kelp. Nervously, Marisol sat down. A starfish climbed onto the table and poured tea from a pot shaped like a conch shell. It smelled like warm vanilla and sea breeze. "So," she finally said, "what happens at an undersea tea party?" "Oh, everything!" giggled a jellyfish with tiny glasses. "We share stories, dance with whales, and sing barnacle ballads. And play seaweed charades," shouted a shrimp in suspenders. "And eat sand dollar biscuits," added a shy turtle. Marisol giggled her first real laugh in weeks. The Countess leaned in. "Would you like to share a story, Marisol?" Marisol hesitated. All the sea creatures turned their eyes to her. Her throat went dry. But then, she saw her drawing floating near the center of the table, the very picture she'd made just hours ago. She looked at the smiling faces around her. They weren't laughing at her. They were waiting. She took a deep breath. "Well, once upon a time, there was a shy girl who dreamed of the sea," she began slowly. "And the sea dreamed of her too." A gentle hush fell over the party. Even the bubbles paused. Encouraged, Marisol continued. She told them about a sea queen who had lost her voice and a girl who gave hers to help her sing again. She told of dancing crabs and battles with kelp monsters and an orchestra of clams that played with pearls. As she spoke, the water shimmered with each word, forming the shapes of her story, living pictures that danced above their heads. When she finished, everyone cheered. The Coral Countess clapped with delight. A true storyteller, you are more powerful than you know, Marisol. I never talk this much, she whispered. That's because no one's ever listened like this, said a kind-eyed dolphin. Suddenly, a tremor ran through the seabed. Uh-oh, muttered a crab. Tide trouble. From beyond the reef, a shadow loomed. A grouchy sea hag, covered in seaweed and barnacles, swam in angrily. I wasn't invited, she growled. The Countess stood. You never asked to come. The sea hag narrowed her eyes. If she can come from the land, then I should be welcome too. Marisol stepped forward, her voice small but steady. You can sit with us if you want to, everyone gasped. The hag blinked. Even me? Yes, Marisol said, holding out a teacup. No one should be left out. There was silence. Then, the sea hag slowly softened. Her seaweed unraveled. Her crooked back straightened. She took the teacup with trembling hands. Thank you. The tea sparkled, and with the first sip she smiled. The sea clapped in waves. A pod of whales let out joyful songs. The Countess looked at Marisol with proud eyes. You've reminded us what true kindness is. The jellyfish orchestra began to play. Sea creatures started to dance, including Marisol, who twirled with dolphins and laughed with octopuses. She didn't feel shy anymore. Later, the seahorse returned. Time to go, dear Marisol. Will I ever come back? She asked. Whenever your heart is open to wonder. With a blink, Marisol was back on the rocks. The tide pool was still. Her drawing book sat beside her, open to a brand new page. A painting of the tea party, every smiling face perfectly captured. She smiled to herself. And when she went to school the next day, she spoke up in class. Not loud, just enough. Enough to start her own story. The end.